It's the Sports Zone Unfiltered, brought to you by H-E-B.
Welcome back to the Sports Zone Unfiltered here at Stogie's World Class Cigars. And the guy joining us now probably is enjoying this place. I'm guessing Travis Johnson, former Texan, a former first-round draft pick in 2005. And this seems like this would be a pretty good spot for you, Travis, to hang out.
No question. This is my type of place. The air. I breathe better in this type of air.
That's right.
Well, thanks for being here. And we all know that you are very close friends with Andre Johnson, your former teammate as well. So you have very good insight into what he's been going through this offseason. And kind of take us through that. And we were talking earlier in the show about what he said earlier this week. He's not sure he wants to be part of a rebuild. He's done it before. I mean, talk about the toll that has taken on him and what mentally and emotionally he's going to have to gear up for if he's going to do that with the Texans again this season.
Well, I think the mental part is getting young guys prepared to go to work like he goes to work. The physical part is going to be easy for him. I've seen him work every day. We work out together every day, every morning. 8:30, me and him are working out together. But I think the problem is that the team had a need going into the draft that they didn't really address. They had a lot of quarterbacks they could have taken before Savage when they took him in the 4th round. You could have taken an A.J. McCarron. You could have taken a Zach Mettenberger or Aaron Murray, and they didn't. They chose to go with a guy who's bounced around to 3 different schools, who shows he's – I don't know how reliable.
Only had one big year.
One big year, but I don't know how reliable he really is.
Right.
Because if you got a guy as a quarterback that keeps running from his problems, I think that it shows a lot of his character. That's a character issue to me.
Right.
And I don't think you want that guy leading your team. Maybe they think different of him.
Let me ask you this just directly. Had they drafted a quarterback number 1 overall, whatever that quarterback might have been, would Andre have said what he said?
Well, I don't know if you could have drafted a quarterback overall. I mean, if you would have drafted one of those guys, I still think it'd be the same process.
Right.
Because it's a rebuild. That guy's not ready to go. He's not an Andrew Luck. He's not a RG3 was. He's not a Cam Newton. This is a guy who we hope he becomes something. We hope he becomes a starter. So I think he's just frustrated with the process of what do we have? Can I go through it again? I went through it with Dom when we went 2-14, and then bring in Koob. Now I got to go through it with this guy, and now they're cleaning house. And that's what coaches do. I think he knew that they would eventually clean house, and I think he sees the writing on the wall where they probably come to him and say, hey, let's restructure just so they can cut him in 2 years, which he's not going to do.
Right.
Well, I have to follow up on that question. With the Texans waiting so long to get a quarterback, do you feel like that Andre feels like they did him a disservice? They didn't make that a priority for him.
Well, I don't know if he thinks like that. I think he's just concerned with the team process, the winning. Is this team prepared to win, or is this team going to go 6-10 again and say, oh, we're getting better? You know, Andre, he's put too much time. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's put too much time in this league to continue to go 6-10, 8-8, 9-7. He's put too much time in this game and too much effort in there. And I think if you look at Andre's numbers, and out of all the top 15 receivers, if he was in a major market team, if he was in Dallas, if he was in New York, Chicago, he would be arguably, they'd talk about Andre as one of the top 5 receivers of all time.
Yeah, behind Jerry Rice in the line.
Exactly. It'd be Jerry Rice, Randy Moss,
who knows? Maybe
Terrell Andre. You know what I mean? That's how they would talk about these guys.
Well, let me ask you this, because I think most people, Brooke and I, and most people who follow the game pretty closely, get what Andre, and don't hold it against him. You know, we actually are on his side, and as difficult as it is for me to say, I kind of hope he gets to go somewhere else because he deserves it. But how do you think it's going to play out, though? What do you think the reality of how it plays out?
Well, I hope it doesn't get ugly, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. You know, because this is Billy O is a guy who always speaks his mind. He's a guy who's always straightforward, and he's been straightforward with Andre. Everything I talked about, Andre and Billy O actually get along pretty well.
Right.
And I think it's one of those things where if everybody respects each other's time, respects each other's thoughts, then it can end amicably if that's what it is.
Right.
Or they can sit down and talk to Dre, and Dre can sit down and talk to them and get something done. But if not, hope they at least send him somewhere where he can go play with Aaron Rodgers. He can go play with a Tom Brady. He can go play with one of those guys if that's what he wants to do.
So you think, gut reaction, he's back with Houston Texans next season?
I don't know. It depends. It depends on if he wants to be here. It depends on the Texans want him here.
Great stuff. I really was intrigued to hear that he and Bill O'Brien get along.
Oh, they get along a lot. Yeah. Dre actually absolutely respects Billy O. We talked about it. He said the first time he met him was at a basketball game, was when Billy O first got the job, he was at
Right.
the Rockets game. He asked Dre to come by the office, and Dre said it was one of the best conversations he had with a coach.
Right.
Where he said he
So
really.
it's not personal.
No, it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
He said he really enjoys this guy. He likes him. He thinks everything he's doing will better this team.
Great stuff, Travis. We thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
and
for
we
having me.
hope to have you back and you can enjoy Stogies again.
I'm
There
about
we
to
go.
enjoy Stogies right now.
Even better. All right, well, we'll be back with Pauly G. Stick around.